In a communication with Thor Han Eredyon on a road trip with Elena Danaan on July 7, 2023, I asked him a series of questions about the colonization of the Pleiades by human-looking extraterrestrials, the Ahel, their historical relations with different extraterrestrial civilizations, especially the Anunnaki, the Ahel system of planetary governance, and I asked how they are currently assisting humanity liberate itself from negative extraterrestrial groups and their former human minions. All answers were relayed through Elena Danaan via a physical implant she has had since childhood.
You're listening to Exopolitics Today with Dr. Michael Salla, your source for the uncensored truth regarding the human, extraterrestrial, global, and political agenda. Click the like button and subscribe to this channel. And now, here's Dr. Michael Salla.
Hi, Michael.
Hi. Well, thank you for answering my questions. I would like to begin with a little bit of history of the Ahel and how they started their colony on their planet. When did that begin?
Oh, you want to know our history?
Yes.
We started in the man system, in the constellation formed in your sky, named by you, Lyra. After our star system was attacked by the Seeker forces, we migrated to different parts of this galaxy. It was a diaspora. We arrived in the Pleiades, which was an ancient project for terraforming. The stars there were very young. There were no planets, no worlds to settle on. We resumed the terraforming procedure on the Ashara system that you call Taigetal, but we were not the only Ahel colony in this galaxy, in this sector of the galaxy. We terraformed planets around Ashara and occupied all of them. We were not on our own. We were also Tal. Is that answering your question?
Thank you. Yes. So, how was your community led? How were the first Ahel led? What kind of political system did they have? Was it a democracy? Was it a kingship?
We had a monarchy on our old world, Maya, and we changed. We kept the monarchy family, and we changed to a more people system that you call democracy, with a government and a council. The royal family still remains to this day, having a part to play in the Great Council of Ashar. Every planet in our system has its own government, and there is a greater council for Ashara system.
During your establishment of a colony in the Taygeta system, did you run across other civilizations like the Anunnaki or the Draconians?
The old empire had possessions everywhere. Pleiades were within the custody of the Anakh Empire. But there wasn't any problem to settle there. The Anakh Empire didn't look for conflict. We could settle there and have our own new territory within the Anakh Empire. We didn't meet Seekers. We did not come across Seekers while settling in Ashara and other star systems in Mana that you call Pleiades. Seekers came after. We managed to take them out and keep them at bay.
So, has the relationship with the Anakh Empire remained constant? Have you had any changes in the relationship? Like with them having beings like Enlil becoming more aggressive or more expansionist?
Enlil was never focused on the Pleiades. His focus was on the galactic zone regarding the solar system. We were never in trouble with Enlil. The Anakh Empire protected us. We were far from what was happening on Terra, although in the vicinity. We were not concerned by the events on Terra.
When you say the Anakh Empire protected you, was it because they had superior technology, or because they had superior magic or occult abilities?
Because we were on their territory. It was like a sort of allegiance, if you will.
Allegiance, right? An alliance.
Alliance is right word too.
What was the relationship with the Andromedans? Did you meet the Andromedans before your colony, the Ahel, found the Pleiades, or did the Andromedans play a role?
The Zene helped us. They were not involved with our diaspora, but they helped us settling in Pleiades. We always had a good relationship with this older organization that is the Zenatian Alliance, or as you name it, Andromeda Council. We always had good relationships with them. They are much older than us and the Galactic Federation of Worlds. They are a very wise organization looking after people in this quadrant. They do not seek conflict. They do not seek to get involved in conflicts, not physically, but they will act from behind. They are a spiritual, wise organization. It gathers the most advanced races in this quadrant and some other parts of the galaxy that gathers people with a high level of spiritual evolution. We are like brothers. We look after each other.
With the monarchical system that currently exists in the Pleiades, in the home world, era, how are the monarchs chosen? And how is there a family, a royal family? What kind of power and influence do they have?
It is hereditary. The influence and power now is very little. In the past, when we were living in man, the power was everything. When we migrated with a few members of our royal family, the power became less. We decided to change the structure of our political system to be more adapted with the coexistence with other species and other cultures. Pleiades are home too. I cannot say the number because it changes. A lot of different cultures.
Did the Ahel ever have a problem with a deep state or with an Illuminati faction or a group that was associated with black magic?
They hate us because we see them. We have this particular ability to see through them, and they hate us when they capture us. They try to know how this ability works, how it is structured in our brain. As many other human races advanced, we can see through the darkness. We have had many problems with the evil faction of the Anakh Empire, led by the son of the High King, Yu. He focused his attention on terror, but we were never welcome. They hated us, Ahel, from Pleiades, especially when we decided to create the Galactic Federation of Worlds. It was a common creation with many cultures, but we let it. We put the project outside in the councils because we never wanted this to happen again when the man system was invaded by the Salla Empire and destroyed, taken over. We wanted to create an organization that would gather cultures, we would protect each other and support and assist each other and put in common all our forces. That's when something happens somewhere, we can defend each other. And you hate this. The Anakh Empire never cared about the Galactic Federation of Worlds. It wasn't their history. They didn't care. They didn't mind. But you hate the Federation. Yes, we always had problems with you regarding the events around Terra. Not in Ashara, not in Manam, Pleiades, as you named them.
So, with the Ahel home world, is there a presidency? Is there something like a federation of different nations? And how are leaders elected or chosen?
There is a council that gathers representatives of each of the worlds, 5 representatives per world. And this council takes decision for the whole Ashara system. We are unique to Ashara. Every star system has their own structure. The decisions are taken first on the planets by the people and submitted to representatives of different geographical areas on each planet of the Ashara system. Each geographical area, which number depends on the size of the planet. Each geographical area has a representative. You would call it governor. The governors go to the council, and the council of the planet decides. And when the council of the planet has decided, they refer to the higher council of Ashar, and it is voted equally, as fairly as we can. The royal families are 2 in the Ashara system. The Ahel descended from Ahel and Ta'al. They both have different bloodlines. We are brothers with the Ta'al. We are very much united in spirit and in politics. I am not mentioning the separatist faction that went to Jahia that you could assume. Decisions are voted. This is how we do. It takes time, but it is the fairest way of getting things done.
When the when did the Pleiades or the Ahel first establish contact with humanity on Earth? Was it before the Anunnaki Empire began their genetic experiments, or after?
We arrived on Terra when you had a civilization that was blossoming at La, held by a good faction of the Anakh Empire and the Intergalactic Confederation. We arrived there and had a colony settling in Atlau. We were very welcome. We were brothers with them in spirit, not in blood, in spirit. This was the first time when we arrived there and left a colony there. The colony didn't remain long because Atlau was destroyed by the negative faction of Anakh Empire. You.
Have the Ahel ever had anything like, here we call them ascended masters or masters of wisdom, beings that excel in a high degree of cosmic unity or oneness? Have these beings played a role in Ahel society or colonization efforts?
We have such persons, and it occurs more often than it occurs on Earth, Terra. These people among us generally form the councils. They will choose to join the councils. We need them in the councils. But many of them join seminaries, places where they teach. Sometimes they teach for a period of time and then they retreat and they will teach again for a period of time. They are elders. We call them elders. It is welcome that they come with us on missions and explorations. We have them one on each ship, if we can, if it is possible. They are the elders. They can transcend densities. You can see them transparent sometimes, but we feel them. They can take solid matter whenever they want. They are very special. They have achieved the evolution of consciousness that we all aspire to.
Does Ea or Eki, what kind of role has he played with the Ahel historically?
He protected us when we were on Terra. He always was curious about our society. We revered him as king of Atlau. Our colony was under his protection. We were in good terms. I wasn't part of the Ahel, you understand, when I was in Atlau. I wasn't incarnated as an Ahel. I was incarnated as an Altian.
When did the Altians and the other members of the Intergalactic Confederation make contact with the Ahel colonies in the Pleiades?
In the Pleiades, in Manam, the Intergalactic Confederation was coming sometimes, sending envoys and messengers to visit Earth, and sometimes they have held terraforming worlds because they have this knowledge more than everyone. But they didn't stay. Sometimes they would come and they would go and come again, millennia after. We always were in good terms. The Intergalactic Confederation, and as you name the Altians, specifically, never interfered in the development of a culture. They always observed, watched how the culture would evolve. You know, in our star system, the original star system, in the constellation that visually you Lyra on there. We were created, seeded first by the intergalactic confederation. We were the root races of all the humans in this galaxy until the Antians and the intergalactic confederation decided to conduct 2 more experiments. Terra was one of them. The other experiment is in the opposite quadrant of this galaxy. On Terra, the Intergalactic Confederation decided to conduct an experiment that would be unique. Not one root race per world, but one race that would gather many other root races in their genetics. This was new. This was an experiment, and it was very precious. In the Pleiades, Ashara system, we were root races, and we still are root races. Ahel are an important and very widespread root race for humans in that galaxy. Ahel, not that much.
After the destruction of Atlantis, which we date to approximately 9,600 BC, and the rise of the Sumerian civilization in 3,800 BC, were there other great civilizations on Earth that existed or established contact with the Ahel?
Are you speaking about the period before Atla was created?
After Atla was destroyed and before the Sumerian civilization began, there seems to be a big gap in our history from around from around 9,600 BC to around 3,800 BC that very little is known what existed there. There's speculation. So do you have any information about this period?
You need to understand that these were dark ages, where the planet was very much damaged. The sky was toxic. The air was toxic. The land was not ready to be worked. No one was there to help re-terraforming the planet. You has made of this world a hell, inhospitable world. So populations, when they came back to the surface, they strived to survive. There wasn't any significant civilization, but many small centers of civilization that were not qualifiable as civilization, but more as communities, gathering of humans. They tried to get together. But Hugh and his forces were there, stopping them, tormenting them. He was angry at them. He didn't want any civilization to strive until he took the decision to set a system that would allow civilizations to grow, but under his control. He would grow civilizations as you grow a forest, as you plant seeds, and he would control them entirely through to this day.
So after the destruction of Atla and Atlantis, one area, if you can explain this, on the one hand, Ea and his scientists escaped or went into hibernation. But then, with the creation of the Sumerian civilization in 3,800 BC, we hear of some cities were under the control of Enlil, some cities under the control of Enki and other entities that were both with the positive and negative factions. So can you explain, with the Sumerian civilization, each city, who was in control? Were the different Anunnaki fighting amongst each other for control and influence over the Sumerian civilization?
These records are more ancient than Ahel. What has survived in the area you call Mesopotamia are the memories of ancient fights. The cities were rebuilt, and the people kept the memory of the ancient gods as they called them. It will be easier to tell the story, but I can assure that the cities were rebuilt and the civilization grew again under the protectorate of the Ea needs to say this. I will say it as well. You have total control over Mesopotamia after the great disaster.
I see. I'd like to talk now about the present era on Earth. Right now, there is this great conflict in the Ukraine. So, how much of that conflict is due to this space ark in an area of Ukraine called Kherson?
Yes, the Ark is not the totality of the reasons for this conflict. The Ark was something that everyone wanted to own. Now it is in good hands, but this is not the main problem. The other problem, which is the first source for this conflict, is the deep underground laboratories and slave facilities, also the making of weapons. There is a very big factory of weapon making in the deep underground. Technology, very harmful, that has been retro-engineered. This was a problem. It was a big nest for the dark. We, as allied with the Earth Alliance, have been working with Putin to eradicate these practices, to cleanse these underground. This is the main action. That the Ark was there also, it was a challenge. The deep state, as you name it, always wanted to have this technology, and they set their laboratories around the place where the Ark is, trying to study it. They had their team around it all the time. They were looking for the right DNA. They never find it. Once they found a man, a Russian man, who had the right DNA. They used him to get the technology to work, but they killed him because they used him in the wrong way. Too much, intense. He died. This man is not known. He was captured. They are looking for others. They were looking for others. For now, the problem is secured. This was the reason for the conflict.
Something that many people are speculating about is why has it taken the Russian military so long to defeat the Ukrainian military, which is much smaller. So is this because there were many super soldiers and clones and artificial life forms acting as special forces, working with the Ukrainians that helped them in the war against Russia?
It was strategical. You know, they own deep underground facilities. These are like labyrinths. This is very difficult to take. The Earth Alliance had tremendous difficulty to get to own the area. For sure, the deep, dark forces in this underground had conducted experiments in their laboratories. The laboratories were not only to conduct experiments, also to manufacture deadly, poisonous diseases. Yes, they engineered life forms that were a byproduct of human organic life forms. These are not humans. They are very tall and they are engineered synthetic life forms from human DNA. They had help from new factions, the knowledge of genetics to engineer these creatures. You can name them super soldiers. It took very long because as long as you was in power on Terra, he supported all the armies of your enemies. When he was taken from Terra, things accelerate. Things accelerate until this is sorted. It will be soon over. Do not listen to what the mainstream information is telling you. This is not how it looks like. The forces of good, the Earth Alliance, are having the hand on this area. There is less conflict than you are shown. Conflict is lesser. There is more control from the good side, as you name it. It will be soon over. The mainstream information is telling you that there will be a big war. This war will not happen. They want to focus your attention on creating this war, on creating the frequency of conflict. They manipulate people of terror by making them believe something emotionally imprinting your reality. And you make it happen. You entice it. You create the frequency. Billions of people create the same frequency, a thought form that imprints the reality. And then it influences the people of the area your mind focuses on. And the people in the area makes the conflict happen. This is how they operate. Believe me, the conflict in Ukraine is lesser than you are shown.
There are many people that believe that we are just witnessing a political show to wake up people that are still asleep, and that Donald Trump still has a lot of power behind the scenes as the true president or leader of the United States. Who does the Federation recognize as the legitimate leader of the United States?
If you speak to your audience on your medium, I do hope you will not attract troubles. We recognize Trump as an ally. We have always used him, worked with him. He is special in his ways. We do not agree with his way of living all the time. He is a human. But we helped him get on the power with the timeline war. We helped him. He has a very close ally physically with him, She is part of the Federation. She helped him on our behalf to secure the timeline. We needed him because he is not interested in personal power. He is not part of what you name the deep state. Although he is a human with flaws, it was the best solution because he is not seeking any more for personal political power. He wants the good for humanity, despite his personal choice for his life. You understand? We do not support everything he has done regarding his own life, but we have helped him get all the power because we needed someone like him.
So this Professor Han Eredyon, who said in sometime in 2020 that President Trump was working with the Galactic Federation, and
Was correct.
that was correct, and that the Federation said that the time was not yet right for disclosure because the technology still was not advanced enough on our planet. Is so all of that is correct. That still is correct. We are still technologically not yet ready.
Eshed was correct, but he didn't say it exactly how it is. At the time he said it, and this is worth for today, the technology is not ready because it is retained from you. You should have this technology. But if it is given back by the Dark Ones to you, they will use it as well openly. There is also another dimension Eshed never spoke about because he was afraid to be judged on this and that it would take away from his credibility. This is the consciousness aspect of this issue. Humanity's consciousness of terror is still tamed down to unknowing, to unawareness. And we are working very much on getting the most humans as possible on terror to unlock their consciousness and their awareness. This is the work of the envoys and the contactees. Eshed was correct on everything. He could have spoken more, but he was cautious. He wanted to remain credible, so he said very little. And also, we have been working with him. Now we leave him in peace. We have been working with him, and always we told him not to speak. He spoke when he spoke, with power available, and always monitored. Humanity of Terra needs to become aware of certain aspects, especially before the problematic events of United States triggered and fake elections. They needed to know who is working with whom.
Recently, we have had a whistleblower come forward, David Grusch, who has revealed information about corporations building or working on captured alien spacecraft. Are his revelations part of this plan that was given to General Van Herk in January of this year?
I cannot speak about this topic, but I can tell you that everything this man said is correct. Only he commented on his way of thinking, which is also part of the plan. He commented that galactics are a threat. You know, when you play a card in a game, as you play on Terra, you need to be very clever. I cannot comment more on David Worth.
I have just released an update from my army source, JP, who says that he went to a facility where there were 4 time travel devices, one to the year 2019, one to the year 2050, one to the year 1945, and the other to the year 1550. Do you know anything about who is working with the military in developing and using those time travel devices, and what is their objective?
This is us. We are working with the Earth Alliance and certain aspects of the military. Your contact, JP, is working with the good side, and he is used to reveal the truth. These time devices, we have helped the military to develop them because the other side was developing also labor technology related to time travel. You know, it has been a time war, and we have helped our friends, our allies on Terra. There are key points in anchoring a timeline. You do not anchor a timeline just on one point, but on a web of many points, like a mesh if you want. These dates are dates in the past and in the future of this timeline to make sure it is anchored and to make bridges, to create quantum, as you name it, links to anchor the timeline. Things are going to change at these particular points. They are points of weakness, they are bifurcations of time. Time, as you know, is not linear. It is not only ephemeral or abstract. Time is something that has no value in the absolute. It is a web like the grid, if you will. And each point on the grid are bifurcations. We need to secure them.
JP has talked a lot about the orbs being released by the space arcs that are monitoring our planetary situation and seeking the crews of the space arcs. How long will that process continue for? And when can we expect the space arcs to begin to appear? Or will something else happen before they appear?
These arcs, these ships, are technology very much wanted by what you name the deep state. When the crews are made known to the audience of the public, well, they will be in danger if the deep state is still in power, or a little power still. Because I will tell you, they are not in complete power anymore. They are dying out. Their power is fading. So I do not give a date precisely when the arcs will be validated to be activated. We are not the ones to decide. You understand, this is not our technology. This is the Intergalactic Confederation and the Anakh technologies. So we do not know, as the Federation, when they will decide to activate them. You need to ask. She will know more. We know their plans, but what they think, they do not always tell. You know, they oversee us. They do not always tell us everything that is in their plans. We have, as I would say, more reasonable relationships with the envoys of the Anakh Empire in this star system. The Altians and the others often change their thought. They have their own council, and they will decide and let us know.
At the Jupiter Accords in 2021, it appeared that a decision was made that the United States Space Command would play a leadership role in coordinating all of the nations on Earth in relations with the Galactic Federation, Andromeda Council, and other civilizations. Does that situation still continue? Is Space Command at the core of the Earth Alliance?
Yes, this situation continues through to this day. There has been since many struggles for power because Terrans are Terrans. They lack of wisdom. They need to develop their wisdom. Your military spirit has been trained to obey orders and seek for competition and power games. This is not really good. So power struggles have occurred since, but the structure in itself is still stable. No one has changed their mind. The accords haven't been rescinded or changed.
Is an example of this power struggle the one between General Glenn Van Herk, head of Northern Command, and NORAD, with the Space Command, where he was very critical of the power that Space Command believes it has in space affairs and nuclear affairs? Would that be a good example of this power struggle, even within the United States military?
This is, to me, a good example. I haven't met Dickinson. I have met Van Herk. Van Herk is a very proud man. He likes to control everything. He is very good for his position. This is why he has been chosen. You need to understand, when these men arrive at such a responsibility, they are chosen for their skills of power, wanting to control everything. They are despicable at keeping their positions. They are ready to do anything to keep their positions of power. They forget about humility. They forget about their equality to other human beings. But this is why they are chosen. The empathy is very little. I met Van Herk. He is a very proud man and very efficient in his work. This is why he was chosen, and I can understand struggles for power. This is ridiculous. They should all work together. We try to advise them. They do not listen. They need to work together. These two organizations are meant to work together. These human games should stop.
So my final question is, on Earth, we have a tradition of ascended masters working behind the scenes to improve the destiny of our world. Do these ascended masters play a role in these events that we've been discussing, such as the agreements between the Galactic Federation and the Earth Alliance, the appearance of space arcs?
The decisions that are made politically are made by military and councils. There are what you name ascended masters on your planet as well. They do not take part in the political decisions, but they are holding behind the scene the frequency of the planet, the frequency of the collective unconscious of your people. They will not present themselves at the councils, but they are here helping your species on Terra. On our world, on Era, they are part of councils because the structure of our councils is ready to accept this type of characters, of persons. On Terra, this is not yet ready. I know you have other questions about what you name ascended masters. These are humans who have reached the achievement of knowing who they are. Their consciousness is connected directly with the 13th density of consciousness, and they can connect upward frequency and downward frequency. One day, most of your species on Terra will reach out to this state of being. You will be masters and teachers for many other cultures. This is who you are meant to be. When Una speaks about the experiment to me, she emphasizes on this aspect that they made these humans for one day be great teachers in this galaxy. They will join membership with the Andromeda Council that we named the Pleiadian Alliance, and they will be great teachers. Ascended masters are for the moment, for the time being, on Terra. A differentiation, term, or title. Soon it will be the norm for most of humanity of Terra. This is what you become when you are free from your chains. You ascend into the higher frequency of consciousness of who you are.
Those are the questions I have. Do you have any, Elena, to ask?
Now I like to step back and I don't have an answer.
Well, thank you, Thor Han, for answering my questions. I very much appreciate them.
We will do this again throughout your journey on these lands. I enjoy very much watching from Elena's eyes and listening sometimes. She knows I am listening. We will do this conversation again before she leaves you physically, if you will so.
That would be wonderful, and an honor.
Have a nice journey to your destination, Michael. I will watch over you from above. I am delighted to do so.
Thank you.
I will now close communication and speak again soon.
You have been listening to Exopolitics Today with Dr. Michael Salla. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Join or start a conversation in the comments. Take the time to explore the vast library of best-selling books, webinars, and podcasts by Dr. Salla. Visit exopoliticstoday.com.